Welcome to NAT, Northern Access Television. My name is Roger Holdsworth. This is a television station based in schools, in the school community development programs of Preston, Preston East, Reservoir and Heidelberg. With us in the studio, Mark McAuliffe, School Community Officer for the Preston Network. Mark, why have a television station based in the schools?
Roger, I think that school community development for some years has been trying to grapple with one particular problem, and that's the question of communication. How do schools and networks of schools communicate to the broader community just exactly the philosophy and practices of current day education, so different to the days when we were at school. Television is in all homes, almost without exception, and it's an exciting, very current medium, and it's one that students are tackling in their media courses. But it's the same principle as publishing student work, isn't it? And I mean, you've been involved in that sort of thing.
Or radio. I mean, there's been the Escolta Radio Group, which has had a program every week on community radio in Melbourne, and the Reservoir Network of Schools has been putting out radio programs. It seems to me that the important things with that are that it gives an audience for student work that goes beyond the school, so that instead of an essay or a report or a video that is shown only to the class or to students in the school, students are grappling with real issues in their community and are showing their views back to the members of that community.
It's a very adult concept, isn't it? They are not operating perhaps as students isolated, but as you said, they're in a very real situation. They are having an effect on their community as they will examine it.
It also says something about the valuing of student views. So instead of saying, look, you are children in schools waiting for life to happen to you, we're saying, look, you are important members of our community. What you think, what you believe, the skills you have are important to our community as well.
Very much, and that sort of curriculum-based initiative will allow students to examine their schools and what's going on in schools, but also to go into the broader community and, as you were suggesting, be able to examine and to make commentary on the world in which they live.
We've seen in the United States, where cable television has been available to students for a while, such programs as students going out and interviewing older members of the community to record oral histories, to record the ways things were done, and making generation leaps that way, and also I guess learning skills that might have been lost in their community apart from that. How does all that relate to the School Community Development Program?
There are three main aims of the School Community Development Program, and the first of them has to do with collaborative decision making, so that parents, teachers and students are encouraged to form a partnership, and by doing that to develop the educational future of the school. Secondly, that there is access and success for the maximum possible number of students, and that schools endeavour to cater for the individual differences of students to achieve that success. And thirdly, that there is a redress of disadvantage in community, so that over the next week or so we're really concentrating on that, aren't we, that issue of social justice.
Yes, there's a number of programs that we'll be showing relating to integration of students with disabilities in schools, relating to languages other than English, relating to family maths programs and so on. It'll be quite an exciting week of television, I think.
It is, and the sort of format that we have of students using existing programs but introducing them through the use of this studio here at Preston Tech, and also producing their own additional work will highlight those issues of social justice.
Is it that easy to produce television? I remember coming along to the first meeting and you saying, oh look, we'll just put up an aerial in Heidelberg. Is it that simple?
It's nearly that simple. Certainly public television broadcasts over the last couple of years have really significantly altered the way that television is seen by those people who know about those broadcasts. And just as you've been able to do with student newspapers and radio programs, and that's why you've been such an important part of this team, is that we can demystify the medium of television, and that's our next target. And this way we hope that we get a high saturation level, and it's a perfect way for us to be able to communicate to the broader community.
I guess people must have some of that technology in their homes already. Small video cameras that they use for home movie type level things. VCRs, of course, are very common, and these sorts of things mean that I suppose that people, instead of just being consumers of television, can actually be participants in television.
It really turns it on its head, doesn't it? Australia has one of the highest saturations of VCRs, and it's not entirely passive. As you say, it can become very active, quite investigative, and really students can help shape their community. If there's one thing that we are doing that's different to other public television broadcasts, it's that we are stretching the limits of technology here. We have quite deliberately chosen the half-inch format, and that can be fraught with some difficulties, but because of the advantages of maximum access, we have deliberately chosen the half-inch format, and this is a test broadcast, and we want to know how well that's going to be received.
So we would like some feedback from the audience about the pictures that you're getting, just technically. Are they breaking up? Is there good colour and things like that? And I guess also about the content. What sorts of things do you want to see if there were public television available in this area?
That sort of feedback is essential, because at the end of this program broadcast we have to undertake a thoroughgoing sort of an evaluation across 4 school community networks, and that will be more than 30 schools, but we want to make those judgments about how effective it has been and what future there is, and we do need that feedback. It'll be on through the telephone numbers, or if people would get in touch with their local school and let us know what sort of reception there's been.
So stay tuned all this week on Channel 31, Northern Access Television. Some wonderful and some exciting viewing throughout this week, 6 till 9 every night.